Hello learner, welcome to my video lecture on computer networks and security with the course code 18CS52. In this video, I will be discussing about the principles of congestion control. We will be discussing about what is congestion and what is the cause and cost of congestion in the network and how do we control the congestion in order to improve the efficiency of the network. Principles of congestion control. Before discussing congestion control, we have to understand what is congestion. Congestion in a network is a state whenever too many sources sending too much data too fast for a network to handle. It's just like a traffic in a road. That means if you consider a junction in a city, a road from the multiple direction will be meet together, and if too many vehicles come together in the same point, obviously there will not be no place to move for the vehicle. In the same way, whenever too many sources send too much of packets or data to a single device, then obviously there will not be enough resources to handle the packets or data. In this situation, there will be a congestion in a network. That is why we have to control this congestion in order to uh, improve the efficiency in the network. Whenever there is a congestion in a network, it will stop the normal flow of data. The congestion control is different from flow control. We can say that flow control is a part of congestion control, but not exactly the same. As a manifestation, due to congestion, there will be a loss of packets because whenever there is no enough buffer space in a router, obviously the packets will be lost. And whenever the packets or data are queued in a router for processing, obviously there will be delay for the packets whenever it reaches to the receiver side. If you consider the given diagram, we can consider a network. If at all this particular router, so consider a router is nothing but it's a intermediate device. If a router receives too many packets from different direction at the same time, there will be shortage of buffer space in this particular router. Whenever there is a shortage of buffer space, no more packets can be stored in the router. Now the packets will be lost. Whenever this continues, there will be a congestion in the network. That means there will not be any normal flow of packets. So this situation or this state of network is called as congestion. In order to understand congestion control, we consider different scenario to understand the cause and cost of the congestion. Here we consider two senders and two receivers which are connected through a single router, and this router has infinite buffer space. This is the ideal condition, and we consider the output link capacity is R, and since there are infinite buffer space, we don't consider any retransmission of data. That means all the data which are sent by sender will be received by the receiver side. Both the sender host A and host B will be sending the data simultaneously. That means each device will get a capacity of R by 2. With this, if you consider the sending rate of the device, a single device has the sending rate which is equal to lambda in. That means the application layer will be sending the data to its socket in lambda in bytes per second, and the receiver will receive the data with the throughput of lambda out. If you consider the throughput of a single source and destination pair, the graph will look like this. That means the throughput of the receiver will increase gradually whenever the sending rate reaches R by 2. That means the capacity of the link. Obviously, since the buffer space is infinite, there will not be any congestion in this case. We consider all the data which are sent by sender will be received by the receiver side. That means the received number of data received by the receiver will be equal to number of data sent by the sender. But if you consider the delay will gradually increase whenever the arrival rate approaches the capacity. And once the arrival rate exceeds the capacity, obviously the delay will go to infinite. So with this we can say that large queuing delays are experienced as the packet arrival rate nears the link capacity. So this is the cost of congestion. Whenever we increase the data rate, obviously there will be large delay. In the second scenario, we consider the same example. That means we consider two senders, host A and host B, and two receivers, and these two or four devices are connected through a router with the output link rate R. In this scenario, we consider a finite buffer space for the router. That is the one difference we consider in this scenario. Instead of considering infinite buffer space, here we consider finite buffer space. Both the sender will be sending the data together, that is simultaneously. If you consider the application layer input, it will be equal to application layer output. That means with regard to application layer, number of bytes sent by the sender will be equal to number of bytes received by the receiver. If you consider lambda in bytes per second is sent, and the receiver side will receive lambda out bytes per second at the receiver side. That is the original data. Lambda in is the original data sent by the application layer process to its socket. And if at all there are retransmission, we consider the retransmission happens at the transport layer. Here we consider one more parameter, that is lambda in dash, which includes original data plus retransmitted data. That means transport layer input includes retransmission. That is why always lambda in will be less than or equal to lambda in dash. And normally we call this particular number of bytes sent by the transport layer as offered load to the network. With this consideration, we consider the case 1 in scenario 2. That means the sender will have a perfect knowledge of buffer space. The sender will send only if there are buffer space in the router. So we can say that all the data which are sent by the sender will be received by the receiver. Even though it's a unrealistic case, we consider this particular case in scenario 2, and we will consider different cases with the same scenario, and we study the cause and cost of the congestion. Here, whenever a packet is sent by the sender, a copy will be left by the sender for if at all there is a retransmission. Since we consider always there will be a space in the buffer, the packet will be delivered by the delivered at the receiver side. If you consider the graph for the throughput, the throughput will approach to R by 2 whenever the sender sends the data with rate up to capacity. So this is a simple scenario we consider. As a case 2, here we consider that the packet which is lost will be retransmitted. The sender will come to know which packet is lost and the sender will retransmit the packet to the receiver side. A packet will be sent, and if at all there is no buffer space in the router, the packet will be lost, and for this lost packet the sender has to retransmit the same packet to the receiver side. This is the case 2 in the same scenario, that is scenario 2. If at all we consider this particular case, the rate at which the data are delivered to the receiver application is R by 3. Thus, out of 0.5 R, that means R by 2 units of data transmitted, 0.33 R byte per second are the original data and the rest of the data are retransmitted data. That is why here the throughput is R by 3. And if you consider the cost of congestion, the sender must perform retransmission in order to compensate for dropped packets. This is the cost of congestion with this scenario. We consider another case, that is duplicates due to premature timeout. That means here we don't consider loss of packet, but due to some delay, the packet will arrive at the destination with more delay and eventually there will be a premature timeout at the sender side and the sender will retransmit the same packet to the receiver side. So sender times out prematurely and sending 2 copies, both of which are delivered. First, the data will be sent by the sender and it will have a copy for retransmission. There will be a delay in the receiver side and there will be a premature timeout at the sender side and same packet will be retransmitted. With this, if at all if the router forwards the same packet twice, then the throughput comes to R by 4. That's what the graph is given. Here the throughput will come down to R by 4 with the provided load. With this we can say that the cost of congestion is unneeded retransmission by the sender in the face of large delays may cause a router to use its link bandwidth to forward unneeded copies of packet. That means the router is performing the forwarding of packets unnecessarily. The same resource can be used for other purpose. So here we can clearly understand the unnecessary retransmission of packets. So that is the cost of, one of the cost of congestion in this case. Now we will look into scenario 3 to understand the another cause and cost of a congestion. Here we consider more realistic case. We consider 4 senders, host A, B, C and D, and all the devices will be sending the data to all the other devices, and we consider multi-hop path. That means a path will be shared by more than one devices. We also consider timeout, retransmission of packets due to timeout or loss of packet. Here we consider host A and host D will be sending the data, and we consider 4 routers. If you consider router 1, that is R1, it will receive the data from host A and host D. And if I consider host B and host C is sending the data, router 3 will receive the data from host C and host B. If at all there is a loss of data due to some uh, limited buffer space, if you consider host A starts retransmission and eventually R1, the buffer space in the R1 becomes full, the data whatever sent by host D will be lost. So what happens as lambda in and lambda dash in increases by the host A? Of course, all the data which are sent by host D will be lost. So as lambda in dash of host A increases, which is represented in red color, all arriving blue packets, that means packets which are sent by host D at router 1 are dropped. Why? Because the buffer space becomes full whenever host A retransmit and sends the data to the host C. And the throughput of the host D to host B becomes 0. With this we can say that since because of limited buffer space in R1 and once the buffer space becomes full, the packets which are sent by host D is lost. The time taken by the R4 for forwarding the packets get wasted. So this is the one of the cost of the congestion in this scenario. If you consider throughput, the throughput will come to 0 whenever there is more retransmission of data from another device. So cost of congestion is nothing but when a packet is dropped, any upstream transmission capacity used for that packet was wasted. So as I told, whenever a packet is dropped, the other router, whatever they have done their job, get wasted for that packet which is dropped. So that is the one of the major cost of a congestion in this scenario. Till now we have seen different scenarios to study the cause and cost of congestion. We have seen 3 causes and cost of congestions. Due to congestion, there is a need for retransmission of data due to packet loss, and due to premature timeout, the packet may be retransmitted unnecessarily. And whenever a packet is lost in one router, the job done by the upstream routers get wasted. Apart from this, there are so many other cost of congestion. So we have to control the congestion in the network in order to increase the efficiency of the network. We have 2 broad approaches towards congestion control. First one is called as end-to-end congestion control. In this, there is no explicit feedback given by the network. That means the sender has to identify the congestion by the observation of loss of packets and delay in the packet delivery. And normally TCP takes this particular approach in its congestion control mechanism. The next approach is network assisted congestion control, where the routers will provide explicit feedback to the sender about the congestion. This particular approach is used by different network, namely IBM, TCP/IP network, which is referred by RFC 3168, and ATM ABR congestion control mechanism also uses network assisted congestion control. In network assisted congestion control, the sender will come to know about the congestion based upon different feedback. In first case, a feedback will be given by the router which identifies the congestion with the help of a chalk packet. The particular router which identifies the congestion will indicate the sender directly with the help of chalk packet. In another case, the router which identifies the congestion will notify the receiver first with the help of a special bit in the data packet, and ultimately the receiver will generate a special packet and it will send to the sender to indicate about the congestion. This is how these are the two way of providing feedback to the sender about the congestion. With this, I stop my discussion on congestion, the cause and cost of congestion, and the approaches towards congestion control. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.